There is one other contracting job. When you get ready,
Could be in, but
it's there's a hard. Oh, you gotta remember you gotta jump on the farm.
well, I did. Not have any.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Yeah, you don't have permissions yet.
Okay.
Because you just technically just jumped on the farm. So
Well, hang on. You do that? Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to take his queen and then wrap him. I'm not real great at chess, but I just a little bit. Well, so far, I'm a little bit. I think I've just been lucky though.
I used to play Catherine. You remember her?
Yep.
I used to. She loved playing chess, so we played chess every once in a while. And at first, she enjoyed playing me because I've never played chess before. But then I started figuring it out and started figuring out my strategy. And then she didn't like it so much because I was pretty cutthroat about it.
Well, see, that's the thing. He gets in there pretty aggressive kind of early on, and then, while he blundered a couple. Okay.
I don't know whether it's right or wrong. I always I kind of think about risk versus reward. I may leave something for someone to take, but I may also take something before I leave it too.
Well, that's the thing, and we haven't. Me and him. Well, when we were in the same office, we had a board going. We'd move like once. So, a game would go on for. But we play on the desktop. Giving me the permissions yet?
Yep. Well, we don't have equipment.
Oh, okay.
See the $0 in the corner? You've got to borrow the equipment for the contract and do the contract.
Oh, I guess I've.
Well, if you here, I can.
Oh, hold on.
There, all the equipment's at the farm now,
Okay.
or at the.
Well, that's what I mean. I was trying to just warp to a piece of equipment.
Yeah, but we don't have anything, so you can't just warp to a piece of equipment.
I know. So I'm like, man, I have to walk. So what are we gonna do?
That one is field 28. You're harvesting field 28. If you want, I can help with the header part of it. And I can help you with the contract too. I'm plowing. I'm doing a plowing contract because this is the only thing we got at the
I've
moment.
literally never, but I can. Yeah. Well, anyway, I can be fairly conservative, but I do a lot of puzzles and stuff, so I'm not saying totally out.
Yeah. No, I know if I went out to get somebody that actually knew what they were doing, I wouldn't stand a chance. But
Well, that's it. There's this other guy in accounting that he's better than both of them, but he can make some mistakes. So we get a game going pretty good, but he
Speaking of blunders, I so on my 5K this morning, I was I got to the point, the water station, um, and so I was worried about getting a cup of water, and I had my earphones in, so I wasn't listening, and I wasn't looking down at the paint or at the ground to see where they had things painted out at.
yeah
And so I'm running along, and I'm already at the tail end of things, and um, I'm just like, it's like, wait a minute. This started turning into the 10K route, and
okay.
not the
So that's
5K.
what I saw.
Uh,
Brooke made a post, so that's what she meant by that.
so I
You did
ended up running
5K
like
and
a
then some.
little. I ran a little extra, and I turned around and I ran to a guy um that was stopping traffic, and I said, "Where is the 5K turnaround?" And he goes, "You missed it. It's all the way back there." And I was like, "Oh." So I started running back, and then the guy that was at the water station said, "Oh, you accidentally ran back or past?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, he goes, "Well, I probably should have done a better job." And I said, "No." I said, I had my earphones in, and it was really loud, and I wasn't paying attention because I was more worried about the water than I was about
Yeah,
looking down. The only thing they could have done differently is maybe made a sign that was in the middle of the road or something.
yeah,
I was like, it wasn't their fault, but and it wasn't like I was gonna have like a best time ever type thing, you know. So I wasn't too concerned about it.
okay. Well, I wondered, but because I happened to just put by the post Brooke made selfie or something about 5K and then.
Yeah,
So I didn't exactly understand, but now it makes sense. 6K.
not quite a 6K. It was more like a 5K and 5/10 of a mile, I think is what my tracker said. It was at the tail end, so it ended up because I'm not. So I just got back into running. I don't know. Well, I kind of started back in November, but it's been it hasn't been anything super consistent. There's been times where I've been sick for a month, and just so it hasn't been like a full on 6 months of training. I just been doing what I can do. And so, really, at the gym, all I run is about a mile and a half. And so, my legs can handle doing the 3 mile, but by the time I get to about the halfway point, my time really tapers off. So, it ended up adding like 2 extra minutes to my time compared to what I've been running them. But I'm basically starting over again anyway, so my times are really slow. But I'm hoping here to be able to start bumping up speed, and then next year I'll look better.
I haven't ran like that kind of. Yeah, it hasn't been colder, but it's almost been that long.
Yeah.
I'd have to I'd have to try. I'd have to.
I hope to get back into 10Ks, and there's even still some half marathons that I wouldn't mind doing. One or two that I had it set for a goal at one point in time, but we'll just have to take things as they go. Right now, I kind of know where I need to be speed wise, running a 5K before I feel I'm ready to start running a 10K. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see how things progress. I did 2 weeks ago, ran in Hastings, and that was actually a really pretty run. They had us running around the college. I haven't spent much time at their college in Hastings, so that was kind of interesting to me, I guess. And at the end of it, they gave you a breakfast burrito.
I still like the beach. Which
Yeah,
which
that's the
just that was. I mean, it seemed odd, but it also seemed just right. I mean, it tasted good after that, and I don't know if it was just. Of course, low carb still, like the carb. You know, my body wanted something, and that hit the. And I'm
yeah,
not a beer person, you know. And I'm not a beer person after a hard day's work like labor either.
yeah,
Like it doesn't. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Once in a while, that'll keep. I'll buy a 6-pack of cans or something, cooking crock pot or over something. And again, so a six that can last half a year. You know, sometimes that'll sit in the fridge for half a year. Once in a while, I'll pull one out, and it'll just be something cheap, whatever is the cheapest. Coors Banquet or PBR or Cotty or Cotty Light or something.
mm,
So it's nothing. Once in a while, tastes tastes good, but or I'll feel like it. That run
yeah,
that run odd. You know, and I understand there
yeah.
seemed odd in the goodie
That's
bag.
what that's why I do the one I do here in town in the spring, because it's actually sponsored by the brewery, and I found out this year because I've been doing that for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, and I found out this year that the one of the owners of the brewery is actually a runner, and that's part of the reason why they do it. I think it's him and his wife that put it on.
Of course, we've been kind of hiking trail walk a couple months. Of course, limited by the, but he can
Yeah.
go a couple.
Uh,
He can go a couple miles.
speaking speaking of that, um, we call him. I don't know if you knew we had a nickname for him, but we uh, we have the littlest boy, which is Claude Junior.
Yeah.
We call him little C. Well, Brooks signed up for the 2 mile this morning, and he was like trying to decide if he wanted to go with her or if he didn't, and he finally decided he decided, yeah, he was gonna go. And she said, well, if you're going with me, you're gonna have to walk the 2 miles with me. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. So I guess about halfway he made about a mile, and then he was tired, and he's like, he wanted to quit, and Brooke's like, "You can't quit now. You're only halfway through it."
Yeah, you're halfway
And
through it.
he was trying to slow down, and I guess to get her to slow down, he started grabbing onto the stroller and kind of pulling back on it as they
No.
were walking, so she had to slow down.
Yeah.
And she was getting to a point where she's like, okay, well, you see that we only got a couple more blocks to go, and she was like trying to talk him through it and stuff, but she said, um, she kind of got to a point where she had to, she was just kind of in front of him a little bit, and he was just doing what he could to stay, to keep up with her.
Yeah.
So,
Tomorrow we might go somewhere and RC's.
how did we make $19 already?
I don't. I wondered that too. I started cutting this field, whatever this. And it had uh it popped up $19.
Yeah, well, so I don't know. I don't know how much I've talked about this or not, but things have have changed quite a bit. Like as far as now, I've got like a health coach. Not one like, well, I could talk to her about things that like my weight program or something I need to change or something, but that's not originally how this all started. But I got a health coach now, and then like I was thinking today, this year in particular. So I get done with a race, when I get a chance to sit down, like whether it's this morning we went to the Cozy Inn for breakfast, and
Yeah.
um, when I get a chance to sit down, the first thing I do is I gotta post to my Instagram, which also posts to my Facebook, and then I've also got to write a message to my health coach because she wants to know how the run went or how I felt, um and everything. So it's like I get done with it's not just like being done with a run anymore. Now there's like this post race stuff
Yeah. Well,
I
that's
gotta
what
do,
being an influencer is about.
and then there's the run app, and I've got to get the run app shut down. So I gotta because you stop. I stop it when it's at the finish line, but then that only really pauses it. I have to like go through and finish saving it and doing all this stuff on there. Yeah. It's just like it's crazy. I've got all this like. I can remember the days when it was just like you were done with the run, you went and got your water and banana, and that was it. Or you went and got your beer and hung around with your friends, and that was it. And it's like now I've got like this 10 to 20 minute ordeal of stuff that I've got to.
Yeah, gotta log it all up. Log it.
Yep, I got to post everywhere. I even still was doing stuff this morning when I got home because I got a part of being part of being in the EOS group is you gotta post at least something once a week. Usually, a lot of people all they do is they say hi or something in the group chat. Well, when I got stuff like the run or something, then I always add a little bit more than just saying hi. So even when I got home, I still had to do stuff like that. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just I'm just, it's just crazy to me. It's like,
You're an influencer, so yeah. Be away data you can wrap it to your and you could talk while you're going. Couldn't watch the chat, but
if I, yeah, I don't know. That might be a little bit bouncy. I originally at one point in time wanted to do something like that, but I'm guessing the technology has changed quite a bit because there's a bunch of runners that I do follow that are able to like steady their cam.
well, that they probably have some sort of gimbal mount. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to experiment, I guess, or Google and see what options are out there. Because the phone has a little bit of, yeah, it would still be.
I don't know, like this morning's run, I maybe it would interest people or something, but I don't think it's as as scenic as some of them would do or have done.
Yeah, but you could, well, you'd have to sort of carry on a conversation with yourself, like, but maybe talk about
Yeah,
regimen leading up to this. And I don't know. I'm
if
not.
I did that, I'd have to that would definitely be something when I'm in a
Would be kind of like
10K
a
because
vlogging, like maybe more of a vlog.
yeah,
You'd think of something to talk about, probably related to running or health, like you've been maybe you've been thinking. Actually, that is what you do. Is you yes, what do you? Because then you pose questions about what do you think about this. So people maybe watching after fact or watching live will put, I do this or what. That's interaction, even though you can't read while you're doing it.
yeah,
I mean, think about huge streamers, all the chats that are whizzing by. They're not able to follow every.
yeah.
It'd be something to maybe experiment just on a training. Go to up north there towards the golf course, somewhere where it's a little not just
Yeah.
where there's less people. I guess that's what a little bit just do a short deal. And I mean, even if nobody's watching, you watch it back and see what it see if it seems like something that could work. That's
Yeah.
what I'd do.
Well, there is I know Average has one. There is he calls it the talking lady. There is a chat reader that could
Back, yeah.
read it to you.
Well, I mean, there's that's as long as it can run at the same time. No, that's the other. I would think it could last
Yeah.
through a whole 5K, maybe or 10, but a decent. Because I mean, there's YouTube do that. I don't watch them, but I have.
Hmm.
I don't really watch him anymore. But Boogie first, wait.
Hmm.
gone downhill all the way around.
Oh.
Got gastric bypass, and lost a bunch of weight going to a gym or health club, kind of swimming
Mm.
and that kind of stuff. He was getting active where he wasn't active.
Yeah.
There's a lot since we haven't talked about, and you brought.
Yeah.
He's just gotten. He used to be kind of, dare I say, inspiring, I guess, somewhat. But now, garbage. Like, he doesn't even do gaming. Used to follow a little bit of the internet drama stuff. Well, he kind of quit that because now he's just what they call a lol cow. Lol cow. Gets some click. Not content I want to watch. It's doing some stuff that was sensationalized. It's some out of control, and then he, because of that, he balloon, back up. So yeah, basically the reason I was watching, because not that he was kind of, well, some people, I never thought of him this way, but some people kind of the Mr. Rogers of YouTube, but I wouldn't go that far. But he was kind of, again, sort of inspiring. It was see his kind of journey to kind of, get better at everything, taking care of himself, and now he's just begging for, blew a bunch of money stuff, and now actually, or rumors himself, he lost a bunch of crypto, invested, or it was a scam, or it was kind of a scam got into, or maybe not a scam, but sort of a Ponzi deal.
Well, and depending on, he could have done that thing. Like I saw a lot of people, and I know there's that whole thing with FTX and stuff, but
this was different than that. This was
but so what I remember seeing is, okay, so this was roughly about a year and a half ago now, because it came out around the time of the Super Bowl, if I remember right. They were advertising, we'll buy into crypto,
I was following it,
was, and then I, like, of course it tanked like everything else did last year, and then or maybe this was 2 years ago. Anyways, and then all these people started complaining about, well, I invested money into it, and then now it went down, and I lost all my money. And it's like, well, as long as you don't sell it, you don't lose your money.
You didn't lose, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, it's because you didn't. You bought when it was high, because you bought it because the commercial told you to buy it, and not because.
Well, I followed it because another YouTuber called CoffeeZilla, who, he's kind of like an investigative journal. Basically exposed all that stuff, and that's really how some of that. His wasn't that FTX deal. It was something. It was something else that he didn't say who. A lot of speculation on, but it was another kind of coming up with their own. And it wasn't the Logan Paul stuff. It might have been even like more NFT based, but it was some kind of one of his YouTuber friends at the advice of, I think, and well, I don't think it was the YouTuber friend that was actually had anything involved. He got sucked in, but he was kind of pimping it, but not actually investing in.
Yeah.
So while he wasn't, you know, the head of it or whatever, he was one trying to get everybody to get into it, just general people. But yeah, that's the thing is like, well, he hasn't sold it, but so he technically hasn't lost, but it's lost value that probably will never come back. So, and he does actually some money, which broken, and he's got this, and she's an adult, but she's 20 years old or something. Girlfriend. It's like 50, almost 50,
Mm-hmm.
and not much is really known. I hate to spout a rumor, but I mean, but it seems like I don't know how naive she could be, because it's like get on the internet and you search Boogie 298 and you're, but but he might be sort of taking advantage of her. She maybe was sort of thinking she's taking advantage of him to get this subscriber YouTuber, and his subscribers are dwindling. His video views, he gets like 20,000 of a view, a video, which is doesn't he has sponsors, but people, and some of them are trolling him cold. Some of they've been successful, right? About in rumors that aren't true, but then he kind of bites on to some stuff and gives them. There was this documentary thing that how he's going broke and spent a bunch of money on hookers and stuff, and
Oh, jeez.
yeah, when he was height of of course, then this one guy that his whole channel is like kind of harassing, or harassing notable people, and he went after, but pulled a gun on him, fired a shot in the air, and kind of like charges brought against him. Kind of sort of got dropped, but I mean, supposed to shoot wildly in the air. He just dumb decisions compounded, which he's always made dumb decisions. But again, when I was like actually watching him, uh, he was trying to not do kind of things or not make bad decisions. Now it's like he's almost just to get the attention. And then he has these little pity parties. So he's just lost a lot. And the only reason I know this because one day popped up in my feed. I forget, it might have been kind of gaming news, on around Blizzard or something. I'm like, oh yeah, Boogie. Okay, well, what's he got to say on this? Well, then started. Once you watch one video, then you get a little bit. Then you want to watch. So I was seeing
Yeah.
other videos, and then he started and then there was this girl in this thumbnail, and that's how I found out about the girlfriend. Well, girl in this thumbnail. So then I went to like his subreddit, and it's like, oh my god, it's just, and not that subreddit has been overly kind to him over the years, but in general, it was more of a, in general, a positive about his, his working this. Well, now it's just a Boogie, get off the internet, fix yourself, kind of.
Yeah.
But he like kind of can't afford it. Like this documentary where it basically tried to interview for a job, but basically bombed like bombed the interview process hiring because he
Hmm.
basically doesn't want to try quote a real.
Yeah.
And that aside, that if you've done it, it'd be hard to get into. Like, I mean, more jobs I have, but still, every time you've been there, you stay somewhere for a while, and then you got to change again. It's kind of a new world as far as how you got to go about things. After 15 years, how would you? And he was
Yeah.
unemployed prior to the did work. He was on. Well, that's what I'm saying is it's sad because like his home life growing up was bad, and according to him, and then he got out on his own and he actually got a job and was kind of sorta with us, but kind of going the right direction. But he was on welfare and that. But then tube deal and started making some money and started again got to the he used to watch supporting himself, got himself off of welfare and all. Now he's headed back that.
Hmm.
But again, he's YouTube's that the YouTube's changed. Yeah, there's still the how-to stuff, and granted, if I worked harder at it, I could get some more. But it isn't like before. People are still going to YouTube to find that stuff, but you got to make either you make it big on shorts or it's like long form, video essay that people watch for 20 to hour long videos and make good on the ad revenue extra.
Yeah.
And he just he can't he doesn't possess the ability to make kind of video. Yeah, it's just again I mostly watched him kind of some of the light internet drama centered around certain games or companies. Watched him. Watched him back in the all the said it was like a form of game. Argue some of that. It
Mm.
wasn't exactly. I guess it wasn't just kind of pay to win.
I don't know. Mm. Yeah, some of those Reagans don't go all the way to the top. I don't know which one
Oh,
you're in.
okay, hang on. It's only 55%, but there's a little lock on it. So never seen.
It might have been something to do with like the weight. Maybe they don't, because of what you're hauling. Maybe it only goes so
Okay.
far.
So where's the sell point? That back at the
Mm. It
farm
should
there, or
be.
elevator? I mean, where the
Look at your pull up your map. I don't know. You know what? What you'll have to do, what I usually do in this situation, go to the contract. It'll tell you where to go. It says go to green sell point. You go to the green sell point. So then you go. What I would suggest doing
here
is,
it says 50 price. You need to deliver the piece. Okay, so that's why it
yeah.
quit. But
So then go up to the prices. Tab up to the prices.
$sign or
No, it's no, the stock market looking one.
okay, yeah, I'm on. Oh, and I
Okay, and
gotta go
then
find Pete.
you go in sell point and then tag it. And if you tag it, no, go to the green sell point. Just go, just take your arrow and put it back on the green sell point. Go
Well, see,
back to the other. Just go back to the other half. There's three of them there. Go to the one that says green sell point. No.
well, yeah, I'm on that, but it's on
Hide
wheat, so I
it
gotta find the
again.
peas.
Now tag it.
How do you tag it? I right
Look
click.
at the bottom of the screen. It says tag, and it'll tell you what button to
Oh,
hit. And then when you go back to the map, if you look up, you'll see
oh,
a green
okay.
you'll
Yep.
see a green highlighted thing.
Well, or it's full.
Yeah.
Actually, how to get properly out of this field because there is road.
Yeah, there is.
Not to that 28. I didn't know how to get through the out.
I think you probably go through the field I'm in.
Maybe that. I see. Beamed.
Yeah, that's
Which I think that is.
yeah, that's probably the one we've been going to. But it'll tell you exactly where, because I think there's a couple of them over there. There might be a ditch or something.
I'm gonna have to drive clear around.
Or there might be a fence. I know there's going to be a fence eventually. Last night I slept like, so we got off and then the storm went through. I think it was another hour. I think I finally went to bed because um about midnight it was still trying to storm, and then I woke up at 5 this morning, and I come into the living room, and I noticed there was more lightning, and I look at the radar, and there was another storm coming, and it's like it finally it hit us, and it finally stopped about like 20 minutes before the run. You need help.
I might. How got it?
Yeah. Well, let me know when you won't, when you do. You'll have to get out of the tractor though. Yeah.
Anyway, I guess back to the live stream while you're running. Anyway, Boogie used to walk around, and so I guess in a way that's idea.
Yeah.
It wouldn't always have to be.
Well, I mean, it's not like I do a run every weekend. I like, yes, this month is a little always. June has always been busy for me with runs. But like usually they're all spread out. So if I were to do something like that, um, it wouldn't be every weekend. It would be spread out through all
But that's the thing.
throughout
That's
the.
why you do your like a 20-minute vlog or whatever on it normal exercise for in shape. I guess that's what I is like. Yeah, once a week, whatever during the whenever it happens to. That could be health health fitness. That might be something that capture on Twitch something. Well, actually, that'd be good for you. Alternate. See what
Well,
works.
I guess what I was thinking of is if I did it on Twitch, then that would mean that I'd still hit my. Usually, I would still hit the. I would still hit my streams that I normally do.
Well, that's what I mean. I would probably do it on Twitch. How it
And then I could always transfer it to YouTube,
yeah, that's what I mean. Then upload it
later.
there after. Yeah, I guess that's what I meant. But like it gets some traction on YouTube, plays, plays. You'd want to make sure you get the description. But yeah, I would try it on Twitch. Might reach different clients. And actually, heck, there's where you try Instagram Live or something.
Mm-hmm.
Following
Well,
there.
and that's where that would be where my running followers are, is on Instagram.
Yeah, it's just I'm not, outside of getting them to go to, you know, getting sponsorships and maintaining that kind of relationships. I'm not sure of a more passive way that or income monetize uh,
Mm.
Instagram. My knowledge, unless you got like tons and action and followers. My understanding is, uh, it's not no ad revenue necessarily. Get a cut of the ad
Yeah.
revenue.
Well, I just saw a
But
thing.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure
just
about
saw
it.
I just saw a thing on I think it was, well, it was on my Facebook Live one, on Restream, and it said something about like Facebook was gonna crack down on streamers if you didn't have 100 followers or whatever. They were gonna kick you
Oh,
off the streaming platform. I guess I don't know what that means, because like technically, if you count all the friends and family I have on Facebook, I would have more than 100 followers. So,
yeah, but are they actually all following? Because you can be friends with somebody but not following.
oh, well, I don't know.
But
So
I'm not
yeah,
100% sure what
maybe
they
my
count as anything at it.
yeah, maybe eventually my Facebook is gonna go away. But
Well, for that kind of stuff, well, even the gaming, Instagram. I I kind of want to delete my Facebook because I really
well,
hate
the
that.
only thing
I
I use
really
it
hate that
for,
company.
the only thing I use it for is just to look back at the memories of stuff. Really,
Well, I do
kind of
pimp
keep up with friends and family, but
I
a
do
little
pimp
bit.
my
But
links to my website and videos through certain uh, groups related to motorcycles stuff and just my hobbies. And I
yeah,
get a little engagement and I get a little, when I've made it in realms, I've uh made a bit of a name, so recommend me without me having to, you know, I say spam, but I only post or spam my links when they're appropriate, when it's going to be helpful and additive to the station. I'm not spamming it out there, spam. But if somebody's got a problem or I have video or I have information exactly about the model or the problem you're having, just here and read about it, and it'll rather than wading through a bunch of comments that really don't know, or they're giving general information, and I have the specifics, So I'm in there like that. But again, gotten to point now, there's lots of people in the group that just immediately go to my website, grab the link or whatever it is, and post it there. I do get traffic. That's pretty much the only thing that's really keeping me. But
yeah,
I sincerely hate that company. The privacy concerns, and some of it's my own fault by by being on the
yeah,
sort of too late now. I I mean, not that there's anything I have to hide. It's just the thought of it. I'm dead. There's breadcrumbs. It's my
yeah.
history. And I thought about it when I signed up. I mean, that all entered in my head. It wasn't like, I mean, like, but it's kind of like, well, I guess that's what I'm gonna do. And it was Katie coaxed me. Once he had it from school because that could do. Came later, I was out. School email at.
Mm-hmm.
And I might have, Same with the whole MySpace. A marketing. But that's I guess the problem here is I really only want to get on as a quote public figure, not really friends and family, close friends interact. I want that collaborative. That I guess seeing other people's builds or this and the other. Way I don't interact with people I know in life on hardly at all because kind of like they don't they're not interested enough, and I'm more that I'm really that interested in their stuff other than is something, but they everybody else is just voyeuring, and I want to create content. I also want like, oh hey that's neat, like, hey, did you think about doing this, or hey, I've done it this way, and I want that conversation. That's what I get on YouTube. I think we've had this conversation before, but like, there's all just take Facebook from what I like about Reddit is, it's in a way semi-anonymous, and people actively get a conversation about something for all group or the subreddit or whatever is, and like the way old forums. I guess that's what I want. Or I want Facebook to be a forum, and it's or people don't use it that way. Some people do, and that's what some groups are kind of. But even groups aren't even laid out like that because, like, questions or interesting posts about things can be reposted to death, and it's like people don't know that it was just posted 2 days ago because that's not how Facebook feeds it. Like, what's been making rounds like in the vintage motorcycle groups is, remember when Travis Pastrana about 2005 X Games came out with a custom bike. Well, it had a custom front end, so he could do bar spins, and he did and he tried doing a backflip bar spin, and well, he did it, but the front end broke at the headstock bearing when the rear wheel landed, so he couldn't land it. The front end fell off, like midair, instantly right on the landing. So meaning when he took off, it must have cracked it, and then the jolt from the rear wheel hitting first finished breaking it off. Kind of spectacular, but it was interesting. But anyway, some photographer caught the moment it broke. That picture's been floating around, and everybody's like, "What's that front end? Blah blah blah." Who? They don't even know it's Travis Pastrana. It's so old because it's from 2005, and I keep posting on it. It's like they thought it was like more newer picture, or something new that's happened. It's like, no, this is like 20 years old, and this kind of pretty much like in his prime.
Yeah.
Prime physically. in age. Um, and they're like, and then I get a, oh wow, I didn't. They thought this was some new thing, and it's like, never mind that, like, tell you something.
Um, speaking of motocross, did you do fantasy
Oh,
motocross
I
or?
keep forgetting. So no, I basically did. Yes, I signed up for it, picked the riders the first week, but we hadn't been able, even though it's on Peacock, we could watch. We just haven't allocated the time
Oh,
to watch them. And no, I haven't been picking the riders, so I haven't kept up. I mean, yes, Jed has been kind of winning, but so is Sexton's there.
so yeah, the first race Jet won. The second race, Jet had a bad wreck, and so then Chase won, and then the third one last weekend, um, Jet is still hurt a little bit, but he's still riding. But he he pretty much both races just got on Hunter's tail, and Hunter just kind of pulled him through, and then Hunter ended up winning. Um, and then last weekend, let's see, I think it was the second race. Um, Chase just, I think he screwed up a corner. I think he washed out on the corner and took himself out of the race. I think it looked like to me, anyways, it looked like the same MO from last year as far as like Chase was trying to catch up and being up in the front, and he was riding a bit out of his ability, and then he hit a corner and um, just lost it, just lost everything. So yeah, I don't. I'm sure if I looked in more into it, I could tell you what Hunter's dealing with, but he's got some kind of a minor injury that he's riding with right now.
Okay, yeah, we didn't. Thunder Valley was and
Yeah,
didn't haven't watched that.
and then last weekend, Justin Cooper, kind of just I don't know. He was like the first race. It was like he was kind of shot out of a cannon, sort of. I think they kind of caught him at the end, but um and then the second race, even the second race, even though it wasn't in first place, he was doing pretty good. I don't know if I don't know if that had something to do with the altitude or if it um or like maybe he was a little bit more adapted to the altitude or something, or if it was just
Yeah,
what it was exactly. But yeah, Hunter looked really good last weekend, and then like Jet was able to kind of just stay on his tail, and kind of used him to kind of just pull him through the race, so to speak.
yeah, I don't know. Motocross, I guess, just busy with other things. Sometimes they make races hard to watch. Can't watch them live, and then trying to
Well,
time to watch them
and
after.
uh, well, in Thunder Valley, it was really messed up. So they got rain delayed, and
Yeah,
so when they aired it, they actually aired. I want to say they aired Moto 2 first on Peacock, and then went back and aired Moto 1 on the 450s, and they did all the 450s in the first hour, and then went back and did the 250s instead of alternating them. I mean, the rain delay just messed it all up.
yeah. That's that's the thing. Supercross is a little easier. some of those races get, but it was easier to watch live or skip to the basic. Would try to watch the heat somewhat, but mostly let it queue up and then watch the end, and you're only committing like, maybe an hour, a little over an hour. Like these, and and that's the thing I like motor. Like, you can't start watching till like 8 o'clock at night our time. Have other things first. Laundry started. Just easier. Trying to other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that'll be ever changing. I would like to watch them live, but being in the middle of the day, that's the prime on Saturday. That's prime day to get other things.
I just kind of watch them at the end of the night, and I ended up splitting them into basically the 4 races. I did not watch the 250s last week because I figured since they were at the end, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind watching the 250s, but I I don't mind watching them because I kind of like to know who's gonna be coming up, but I'm not like, oh, I gotta watch every minute of the 250s. Whereas the 450s is like I kind of want to know what happens, or why did this person get first, or oh, there was a wreck, and is that gonna how bad I heard, is that gonna affect my picks for the rest of the season, or
Yeah. Well, and of course in this case, I kind of was trying to watch 250s a little bit, especially in Supercross, just because the hype around Hayden Deegan, just what he's gonna, or try to speculate what he's gonna turn out to be. And he's legit. And I'm not a hater, but also I'm not a huge, like, not a huge fan of him either. But because he could totally go as far as his career and such. He could totally break out and be, I'm not sure if he's going to be the next big thing, but he'll be one of those top fivers. And I guess that's why
see,
I want to watch him.
I could agree with that. I mean, like, I think I think he'll be a I think he'll be a top fiver, but I think he'll kind of be in contention for that championship. I think he'll be more like Sexton is right now, where um, unless something happens, he's usually just kind of chasing after the title.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. The hype. If you only heard the hype, you'd swear it was gonna. You might think, oh, he's gonna be the next GOAT. Hard to say, but just be that guy that will always be, mostly winning.
Yeah.
But again,
the thing was last year, because I don't think it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hunter is a really good racer, but I don't think Hunter is as good as Jet, and
no,
he
Hunter
couldn't
isn't.
he couldn't necessarily beat Hunter. I mean, like he did at certain races, but he couldn't do it on consistent basis. You know, I was like, if he can't do that with Hunter, how's he ever going to compete against Jet?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So many, and I really like Jet. Maybe it's because so many people hate him for. He's a likable guy and doesn't have too much of an ego. I guess. What is it? Aussie deal. I like the whole Chad Reed deal, which there's other reasons. Like again, Chad grew on me, but in the early years, God, it was hard to. He was a good rider. It's hard to like him. Just didn't have the greatest reputation with how he treated mechanics and stuff, and
Yeah,
maybe that's a cultural thing, but uh, but then kind of came around and was the second coming of Wyndham. The racer everybody loved. It's like Jet is starting out like
yeah.
How Wyndham ended. Not how Wyndham.
Well, I mean, Jet's just kind of starting out, but people just kind of hate the ones that they think. It very well could be that they think that he's just gonna win a lot, and so they
It'll be
just hate
boring.
him because they're just like they're already like,
It'll make the
well, no
racing.
one,
It'll make the racing boring. And I
yeah,
guess I don't know where that's coming from with especially the younger generation doesn't remember Carmichael from really 2001 through pretty much the end of his career, where it was just all right, who's going to get second, third, but then James in the mix. It's like the only thing you were watching is like, is James going to crash or is James going to battle Ricky for a potential win or second place? You know,
yeah,
it was kind of that, and again in Supercross before James got up there when he was still on the 125, it was okay. Is Wyndham or Reed gonna take second, or gonna get who's gonna be the bridesmaid? This kind of thing,
yeah,
you know. And even when Ricky, well, and that's the thing, even when Ricky was out, um, with that knee injury, that Supercross, that the year Chad was able to win the title because Ricky was, you know, it was just the Reed and the Wyndham show, and then and they just went back and forth for half the season, and then Wyndham and whatever happened, I don't know, lost the last 6 races. I distinctly remember that. 2004. But yeah, and honestly, the racing was kind of boring. I mean, overall, because there was just nobody else there to challenge. You could argue a little bit that way in the Poto days. Dungy days. Dungy was great, but he could always mess it up or like have those mechanical problems, and still pull out a good finish, but you have to work for it. So it's like, oh, okay, well that's something to watch. Now, I mean, like, this is pretty awesome. You just how it was gonna mix,
yeah,
and I think, but when they started seeing how Jet able to just pull from behinds and bad starts or bumping into Barsha or Barsha bumping into him, that deal, it messed him up, and he still came back for very respectable. I'm thinking maybe that's it. People hate it because it's like, oh, we don't want to have just this is the guy that's gonna be. But the good thing is,
yeah,
Sexton's there to be a worthy. There's
yeah,
Plessinger, and Plessinger knock him out either, and he's very likable. I don't. Me, new era of racing makes I don't understand why everybody's like, oh, you know, rag on Kenny for Suzuki 10-year-old bike out Kickstarter. Well, don't make mistakes with stalling or crashing. You don't need that electric.
Yeah.
I guess it's a nice to have, but you know, it should be good enough that you shouldn't need it. Start it at the line and it doesn't shut off until you're on the podium. You know. Yes. But I don't know. I'd like to see Owen, like see Sexton right there in the mix with them, and that means potentially Hayden Deegan's in there in the mix too. Better, right? Rather than
Yeah.
one, kind of would go back to the well, McGrath in motocross wasn't the greatest motocross, but you know you had Emig, the Jeff Stanton. But anyway, there was a bunch of guys who weren't just dominating, but they were all good and mixing it up. I mean, kind of sport was different, the bikes were different, training regimen very different. You go back to those early McGrath days or pre-McGrath days, and that's kind of what I feel like that's what we're back in. Only now everybody is on Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart program training where they're robots training
Yeah.
regimen. Ricky Carmichael arguably didn't have the talent that guys did. He had the work ethic. wasn't a thing except for 70s, no, early 70s in or late 60s, early 70s in rider. That was their job and livelihood. Government was involved. It's like, well, a house will give kind of like the Olympics, like Russia. Well, we'll pay for everything and you'll live like a king as long as you
Yeah.
minute you lose, you're back into the pack, you know. Or the peasants. Ricky, that as an American, did that on his own. Oh, you mean I can't just go play ride all week and then go up to the race? I mean, granted, Krusty Demons pretty much showed that, you know.
Yeah.
Now, well, more accomplished would have not got it. I mean, I remember Jesse's had so much potential, but jokes on kind of joke in a way is on them because they made a business out of it.
You're done with
I'm
your
done.
contract, right?
This.
Okay. Everything's gonna disappear on you here.
Yep. Well, and tell you what, wasn't planning on streaming too much. It's a good stopping point. Didn't want it.
Okay.
So this is good. Got a contract done. Got some money going. You're done or damn near done.
I'm done.
Okay, let's save
We
and call
went
it
from
a,
zero to
game.
we went from 0 to 13,000.
Yep,
So
I see. Yeah, let's call it a game and
sounds good to me.